Yes, it's a Monday and we are back with another video. Lights are on, camera's on. Let's get into it. Welcome back. Another Monday. I'm excited. I'm also rubbing my hands because this oil heater is not doing a very good job when it's like 2-3 degrees out there. Side note, why are my windows frosting up and why is the top of my cold tub freezing when the temperature recorded is 2 or 3 degrees? It's not below freezing. I don't get it. Anyway, that's a side note. This week, I want to speak to you about opportunity. Opportunity. I've not thought of a fancy title yet for this week's video. However, I really want to talk about opportunity. Okay? And I want to give an example of the power of opportunity, and then I want to relate it back to my own life. Okay, so first off, I was listening to a Stephen Bartlett podcast, Diary of a CEO. You know the guy. If you listen to this, more than likely you know Stephen Bartlett, Dragon on Dragon's Den. That's like the UK's version of Shark Tank. Okay, cool. Stephen Bartlett was saying that a friend of his was a talented graphic designer who used to make like posters for nightclub events. I don't know, you might see the ones like plastered around whilst you're driving around town or on social media that says, I don't know, the date, the artist, some incentive, free entry before whatever time, etc. He would make those posters, okay? And he would charge the nightclubs, I don't know, £200-300 for each poster, all right? And Stephen saw his talent, knew that he was one of the most talented graphic designers that he knew. And that's saying something because Stephen is in marketing. That's his whole kind of strength and superpower. So Stephen recognized this, that his friend had this talent. And he said to his friend, look, you have so much more potential to make so much more money than the couple £100 you're making for each poster for these nightclubs. And he spoke with him of how he could achieve a lot more for the talent that he has, which resulted in him moving to Dubai using the same talent, but working with luxury brands, working with businesses that had money, that the result of the graphic design, yes, as when applied to a nightclub, could make the nightclub maybe 5, 10, 15 grand more per night. He started working with brands where his graphic designs could make the business millions more. And when applying that level of skill to that niche of business, the right opportunity enabled the same graphic designer to make 100 times more money. I say because I'm thinking at least 100 times. I mean, if you're charging 200 for a poster, times it by 100, 20 grand, that's probably in the right sort of field. 100x your time. That's the power of opportunity, but that's also the power of leverage. Okay? Stephen also spoke about this further in a podcast I was listening to the other day. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I listen to this podcast with a guy called Raoul. And Raoul's been like massive into crypto before being a crypto influencer was ever a thing. Like this guy was one of the first to ever, I think, publish a research paper or some type of paper or article on Bitcoin. And he's just been into crypto and investing ever since. And Stephen spoke, it must be about 30 to 40 minutes into this podcast, Stephen spoke about the power of leverage again. And he said that, why would you do marketing for, I don't know, influencers? The market's all saturated. Like, why would you do marketing for content creators? The market's saturated. Instead, find, I don't know, tech businesses or financial businesses, people that have the money where the market, instead of being thousands or tens of thousands or hundred thousands of pounds working with creators, like per client, is now millions, tens of millions, billions. He said, if you could work with a business that was about to IPA, so it was about to go public, And if you could create a brand story for them and make a load of retail investors connect with them, you could adjust the valuation of a business from 1 billion to 5 billion. So imagine how much you could charge for those marketing services. I hope the penny's beginning to drop right here. And I think it can be really easy to understand a principle like this, but until you start using it in your life and realizing that this principle is so true, I don't know whether the penny will drop in its entirety. For example, for me, I was, selling, recruiting for another business, and now I do that as part of my own business. I realize how much more I can get in terms of my own freedom. I can make my own money rather than being directly paid by someone else as a result of the time I put in. I've now leveraged that skill. I'm definitely on a journey to work out how best to leverage that to have the greatest amount of return. But you also learn how to leverage through experience. But the reason why I was saying the penny might not drop for majority of you, because I understand majority of us have bills. So as a result, we don't have our own businesses yet. Our goal is to create a business. We might have a few side hustles, a few, reselling trainers. We've tried a few e-com stores. That's generally the most someone would do in this space before they realize, this is tough. I just want to work for someone else and make easy money. But until you understand it's not really easy money, you're never really free, you won't really understand the power of leverage. That's why I'm saying the penny might not drop, even giving 2 examples where if you saw opportunity in the right area, you can make so much more money. It's not always easy. It's easier said than done, is what I'm trying to say, because everyone is in a different situation. So I don't know, let's have a think. Cool. Let's say you're doing the standard 9 to 5 office job. How do you leverage? Well, you focus on the things you can control. So focus on the elements of the job you can control. Focus on spending your time on the most important, result driving actions. So maybe your job is a data scientist, data analyst. Maybe a lot of the time you spend scouring through spreadsheets trying to find patterns to give new insights to your boss, for example. Yes, great, that time's probably good. However, what are your decisions? What is the data you're providing your boss? What decisions are they driving? How can you help to bring as much data to support that decision and help core strategic moves to be made within the business? How can you streamline your job role so that you're spending most of the time on the things that are actually producing results and moving the needle, rather than just doing a tick box exercise? I've been in so many jobs where the boss has said, make sure you're doing this, make sure you're doing that. And I know I drove some of my bosses mad, because I'd ask why. Why would I spend my time doing this? What's the benefit? What's it for? I need to understand, because I knew I wasn't a tick box robot type of colleague. I wanted to add value and bring back value. And as soon as I understood the job role and as soon as I understood what brings most value, I then started to deliver and grow more in those areas and get recognized for that. So that's one way you can use leverage in your own job, is to really understand, get your head around what decisions is my boss actually having to make? How can I support him, her, they, them, make those decisions? So that is one food for thought regarding opportunity. The second was regarding investing. As a result of this podcast as well, I highly recommend, you'll see it's probably a podcast from 5 weeks ago with Stephen Bartlett, Diary of CEO. Raoul was talking about crypto and investing, and obviously Bitcoin is at the highest price it's ever been, yet a lot of people are just quiet. And a lot of people are quiet because 4 years ago, a lot of people got burnt. And when people were shouting about it 4 years ago, when Bitcoin was half the price, the market's completely dropped and people lost faith. However, now the resurgence has begun again, and you'll see in the continued months, and if not you'll see in the continual months and over the course of the next year, people will start speaking again. And Raul was just talking about the power of investing in crypto versus property versus stock market. He said the only two assets, when taking into account inflation and like the power of money, that have actually outperformed like inflation, is technology sector and crypto. He said the S&P 500, which is you invest in the S&P 500 if you want to invest in a stock that tracks the stock market, the trend of it going up between 8 and 12% consistently over the past 50 years or so. But he was saying crypto solves so many problems within our world regarding sort of major governments trying to take control, regarding he explained it way better than I, because he had all the information just to reel off, but it really made me think about crypto again and the power of that, and how you can use the word of today's video, opportunity and leverage, to then invest in an area of massive growth and an actual industry of opportunity, crypto, AI, technology, for example. So I guess my food for thought for you today is think about, are you leveraging your time in the best possible way? Ultimately, leverage is about time, because time is finite. And it's about how much you can pull that lever to extend how far the arm will go and how much results you'll get. Just like you got a lever, you got a fulcrum. If it's in the middle, you pull this, it only goes so far. Like the amount of distance down is equal to the amount of distance up. Hopefully that makes sense. Whereas here, you only pull it a tiny bit, and this end, when the fulcrum's towards the end, because you're actually applying leverage, this end is moving so much further. And it's applying that principle to your own life. What areas can I fine tune the investment of my time? One of them for me was optimizing my lifestyle, thinking about, okay, my sleep, my mental health, my spiritual health, my emotional health, physical health. I already said fitness, but if those things are ticked, those boxes are looked after, then I'm operating in the most efficient way to even think about how to apply leverage in the business world in the best way. And that moves on to more about, I guess, my update for my own world. So life update, goals update, future update. I've started posting more on IG. You'll probably see, when I say IG, I mean Instagram. I like to talk about my fitness, because that's an area that I always felt like, oh, I'm not a fitness influencer. Why would I talk about fitness? I like to talk about like self-development on there and kind of the goals that I set. And ultimately, I want to post things that are in relation to the freedom I feel. Because my whole brand, I am free, like this is my hoodie. If you're new to this channel or new to learning about myself, my whole brand is to do with the pursuit of freedom. And I believe this brand and myself, or my message, will help other people to pursue what freedom looks like for them. I've said it again several times this channel. I've said it before several times, and I'll say it again several more times, that I myself found freedom through my relationship with God, and like identifying as a child of God, a son of God, feeling that freedom through my connection and my daily walk and relationship with God. That's how I found my like core foundational level of freedom. But then I also find freedom in like being free in my mind, and that will come from doing fitness, eating well, sleeping well, like making healthy choices, using my time freedom for the best possible things that are going to grow me. So updates wise is things are going well. I'm just pushing. I'm going to run a half marathon in about a month's time. So I'm getting the training like up and going for that. I ran a 12K yesterday, which was really nice, really good actually. The sun was rising. I felt alive. You know those days, I don't know if you've ever experienced one of these days, but I urge you to try and live like not a perfect day, but one of those days where you're just getting out of bed, you're getting going, you're feeling like you're attacking life rather than like life is happening to you. You are happening to life. That's the feeling I get when I attack the mornings. That's why I went to the gym today. That's why I'm going to run later on today. I feel like I'm free and I'm doing things that are really, really good for me and like empowering me to go through the rest of my day, then hitting my goals because I've started the day also hitting my goals. So that's what I'm trying to work on right now is, yes, I have a decent routine established and I want to document my routine sort of more of what I find really helpful. But I also want to work harder on finding where the opportunity is, where I can most leverage my time to bring about the results that I believe are going to come when I guess I've grown enough or learned enough or spoken to enough people in order for them to come. So yeah, I hope this video inspired you and got you thinking. Always, I don't want this to be a video of you just watching me live my life, because I've watched enough people online where it's like I'm watching them succeed and do well and grow and be happy and healthy, but I'm here on the other side of the screen eating my snacks, like not wanting to get out of bed, hating my work, despising my boss, falling out with my partner. Like I'm just not living a fruitful and healthy life. So I implore you, yes, that's a flipping fancy word, I implore you to today take some real action, one step at a time. But for this week, it's thinking about, am I operating within the greatest area of opportunity in order for my goals to be hit? What can I leverage further for those goals to be hit quicker or for those goals to be hit at all? That's the last thought. Make some notes on that in your phone. I want to hear what you've done as a result of this video, because that's the whole point. I'm documenting my journey, but hoping to inspire you to do some good for yourself as well. All right, signing out for today. I need to get out of this room until it's like warmed up a bit. So I'm going to work in the house now and come back into here. But yeah, can you hear that? Can you see that? Not really. That was a fail. Anyway, take care. Have a great week and see you next Monday.